The St. Louis Dragons continued their inaugural season with 2 more games today, as we will start at home against the Atlanta Falcons and then head on the road to H-Town to face off against the Houston Texans. It's been a rough first season for our St. Louis Dragons as we are 2-7, but the last episode was a pretty fun one. As we went through the trade deadline, we played 2 games. We ended up going 1-1. And that included a crazy win against the Cleveland Browns on the road. In case you missed that episode, you should probably check it out, because that was one of the most exciting games of our season. A game that we really should not have won, but a couple big plays late were able to help us out. The big story, of course, was the 2 big touchdowns by Greg Dortch. The first one went for 94 yards, and then the second one went for a clean 100. We had the ball at the 1-yard line with 30 seconds to go, and Greg Dortch scored the game-winning touchdown. So today we're going to get through 2 more games. We're going to play against the Falcons and the Texans. We also have a prospect profile today. We'll be going over some of the pass catchers in this year's draft at wide receiver and tight end. We're going to do that closer to the middle of the episode, and we're going to start with this matchup here at home against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 5-4. They've had a pretty solid year. They've really focused on adding talent, even if it's not necessarily at positions of high value, drafting guys like Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson very highly. They have Desmond Ridder, the second-year pro out of Cincinnati at quarterback, and he's had a pretty good season for the Falcons, who are well in contention for the NFC South. So this is certainly going to be an important game for them, and an interesting test here for the Dragons, who have a pretty tough schedule to wrap up the season. Here through the second half of the year, the Dragons are facing off against mostly playoff contenders in both the AFC and the NFC. We'll see if the Dragons can win their second game in a row. It would be their first multi-game winning streak, and it would also be their first home victory. So we'll see if it can happen. The Dragons opening up with the ball, 2nd and 7. Trubisky looks to throw it. It is caught by Denzel Mims out to the 50. Denzel Mims has had some really good moments this year. He's had a hard time catching the ball, but when he's been able to bring it into his hands, he's made some nice plays. 3rd and 10, short throw for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, getting more playing time with D'Onta Foreman out as he does not get the first down, and the Falcons get the stop. The Dragons would elect to punt it, and Atlanta will get it for their first possession. It's a read option fake, and Ridder loses 4, wrapped up by Emmanuel Ogbah, the veteran pass rusher, and so that'll make it a 3rd and 12 for Atlanta. We'll see what Ridder and the fellas have planned here, as it's going to be a design screen for Cordero Patterson. Jukes away from the former Falcon, Jeff Okudah, but he only gains around 7. So the Dragons get it back. They're moving it down the field slowly but surely. 3rd and 7. Trubisky looks to throw it. He's going to sail it downfield for Dortch, and it is broken up in the secondary, and that'll bring out the field goal team. It's Cameron Dicker, the kicker, on from 52 yards out. It is up and good. And so the St. Louis Dragons are on the board. They lead at 3-0 with 4 to go here in the first quarter. Empty backfield. Ridder up the middle. Connects with Kyle Pitts, the ultra-talented tight end in his 3rd season out at the University of Florida. We're still waiting on that real Kyle Pitts breakout, but we know he's the talent to do it. Ridder connects with Pitts once more. He will bring it to the 8. Ridder has been incredibly accurate so far. He is 7 of 8. Really looking good here in the early going for Atlanta. 2nd and goal. Handoff to Bijan Robinson, the rookie out of Texas, is in for the touchdown, and the Atlanta Falcons take the lead. It is 7-3. Dragons back with it. 2nd and 5. Trubisky up the middle. Connects with Michael Gallup. Quickly wrapped up by the young star corner, A.J. Terrell, but not before getting a first down. First play of the second quarter, now 3rd and 3. Trubisky alone in the backfield. He's going to send it downfield for Jesse Bates. That throw was certainly off target, and St. Louis would once again elect to punt it. The Falcons get it with rough field position at the 12 after a nice punt by Presley Harvin. As Bijan loses 3, he's wrapped up by Devin White, one of the stars of this defense. White comfortably leads the NFL in tackles this year. On 2nd and 13, here's Drake London, the former high draft pick out of USC, bringing it to the 28-yard line. Nice first down for Atlanta to keep the chains moving. Couple plays later, first down from the 41. Ridder downfield, he connects with Mac Hollins. He will bring it to the 13. Desmond Ridder continues to be very impressive in the early going for Atlanta. He still has only missed 1 throw so far. From the 33, handoff to the left side. It's Bijan Robinson who breaks away from Yasin, looking to break away from Metellus as he gets it to the 20. The Falcons are in the red zone. Their offense is really starting to move the ball well. First play in the red zone. Ritter looks to throw it. Under a little pressure, he connects with Mac Hollins, who gets it to the 2. The Falcons are getting closer and closer. We'll see if they can punch it in. First and goal. Atlanta in a goal line set. Ritter looks to throw it, and he will connect with the tight end, John Fitzpatrick, for the score. And the Atlanta Falcons lead at 14-3. Dragons back with it, 3rd and 5. Trubisky looks to throw it, looking for the sideline. Disley makes the catch. Does not get the first down. Nice tackle by Richie Grant. 4th and inches. The offense is going to stay on the field. They're going to look to go for it as DeAndre Swift runs to the left side. It's a 1st and more. He gains around 11. Good run by Swift, who of course played his college ball at the University of Georgia, not too far away from where the Falcons play. 3rd and 8 now. Pass is going to be dropped by Swift. Grant breaks up the pass. And so after all that, the Dragons are just going to have to kick. 40-yard try for Dicker. The kicker is good. And it's once again a one-score game. It's now 14-6. The Falcons with a 2-minute drill. They still have all 3 timeouts in their back pocket as they look to extend the lead. Here is Desmond Ritter on first down. He connects with Kyle Pitts. He is pushed out of bounds by Metellus, but not before bringing it to the 41. 3rd down and 6 now. Atlanta down to 2 timeouts and a little over a minute. Ritter looks to throw it. He has time, and his pass is incomplete, thrown away. Good coverage by the Dragons, and so they'll get it back here with another opportunity here in the first half. Trubisky on 2nd down is a wide-open man. It's Denzel Mims, who is out of bounds safely at the 49 for a first down. 2nd and 5 now from the 44. The Dragons still with only 1 timeout here in their back pocket. Play action fake. Trubisky looks to throw it under pressure, and it is a fumble, and it's picked up by Atlanta. A strip sack from Lorenzo Carter, who not only forced out the fumble, but he recovered it himself. A massive turnover for the Falcons, and they'll get it with great field position. Ritter downfield connects with Mac Hollins to the 12. Big set of plays for Atlanta as they look to make it a 2-score game before halftime. From the 12-yard line now, Ritter looks to throw it. His pass is intercepted! Devin White picks it off, and the Dragons get the ball right back. A big turnover forced by Devin White, his 2nd interception of the year, as it is a 14-6 game going into the intermission. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the rest of the league. We will start in Seattle. The Washington Commanders only have 2 wins, but they currently have the upper hand over Seattle 14-7. For those of you who are rooting for the Dragons tank, this is good news for you, as Washington is one of the other teams at the bottom of the standings. Next up, we'll take a look at Foxborough. The story today, Anthony Richardson. He completed 21 of his 24 passing attempts, including that touchdown over to Michael Pittman for 364 yards and a Colts win 24-10. And in Jacksonville, the 49ers are able to squeak away with a 1-point win on Primetime Football. 25-24, your final. Good win here for San Francisco. They're now 5-4, back in first place in what has been a pretty weak NFC West, which is certainly a surprise. Obviously, Seattle was supposed to be a lot better, and then San Fran as well. You certainly had more expectations for them. So as we go into the second half, it's been a competitive game. We're only down by 1 score. I want to focus on the ground game more. We ran it pretty well in the first half, and then defensively, we got to stop Desmond Ritter. Outside of the interception, he has been phenomenal today for the Falcons. He has not missed many throws. Atlanta opens up with the ball. Ritter up the middle quickly for Pitts. Jukes away from a couple defenders. There goes Kyle Pitts showing off that 4.34 speed. He is gone. 75-yard touchdown for Kyle Pitts. And the Atlanta Falcons extend their lead. It's now 21-6 as he's widowy doing the quiddy in the end zone. So the Dragons get it back. They still have not scored a touchdown yet today. Trubisky misfires on 3rd and 10, trying to get it into the hands of Michael Gallup, and Atlanta will get it back. The Falcons with a nice opportunity to really do some damage to this lead. 2nd and 4, Ritter looks to throw it. He's going to take a shot downfield. Hollins, one-on-one coverage, comes down with it for a touchdown. What a start to the second half for the Atlanta Falcons. 2 long touchdowns within the first minute and a half. First it was Pitts, now it's Mac Hollins. 28-6 your score, and it's not going to get any better for the Dragons. Michael Walker rips the ball away from Disley, and Atlanta gets it back. 3rd and 4. Here is Ritter up the middle, misfires, it's incomplete. Finally a stop for the Dragons defense. They still trail, though, by 22. 3rd and 10, here is Trubisky trying to get something going. Downfield, he connects with the hero from last week's game, Greg Dortch, who gets it to the 45. We've got another 3rd down now, this time 3rd and 6. Trubisky connects with DeAndre Swift, who only gains around 2. A.J. Terrell leading the way on the tackle. Since it's a 22-point game, I feel like there's no reason not to go for it. Trubisky looks to throw it, backs up deep in the pocket, and he connects with Michael Gallup to keep the drive going. Gallup's had a couple of nice plays today, being the number 1 receiver with Michael Thomas injured. 3rd and 1, here's Sean Tucker to the left side, gets a block. Sean Tucker is pleased to put the Dragons back in the end zone. Great run for the former Syracuse running back. In limited opportunity, Sean Tucker has honestly been really impressive for this team. 2-point try back to Tucker. He does not get it. Big tackle by Caden Ellis, one of the more underrated linebackers in the league, as it will remain 28-12. Falcons get it back. Play action for Bijan. Ritter with a nice throw. It's caught by John Fitzpatrick. Pushed out of bounds by the NFL tackle leader, Devin White. Fedarian Mathis hurt on the play for the Dragons. Atlanta is back in the red zone. It is 2nd and inches from the 20. Handoff for Bijan Robinson. Breaks a tackle and is wrapped up at the 8 with a hard hit from Emmanuel Ogbah. And now Leo Chanel shaken up for St. Louis. 3rd and goal early in the 4th. Ritter looks to throw it, and it is intercepted in the back of the end zone. Caleb Farley with his first interception as a Dragon. Farley was hoping to return it, but once he realized he couldn't, he'll be tackled in the end zone by the All-Pro guard, Chris Lindstrom. So the Dragons get it back. I mean, they're only down by 2 scores. Trubisky escapes the pressure, but is eventually sacked by Arnold Ebiketie, the 2nd-year pass rusher from Penn State, started his career at Temple. 3rd and 18 now. Trubisky sacked again. David Onyemata this time brings him down. So the Dragons would punt it. St. Louis gets it back from the 39, 2nd and 6. Handoff for Bijan Robinson. Jukes away from the defender, and he is wrapped up by Farley at the 21-yard line. Good run there for Bijan, and so now it is a 3rd and goal from around the 6 with under 6 to go. Ritter looks to throw it. He has an open man in the end zone, and it is caught by Drake London for the touchdown. This time Atlanta does not turn it over in the red zone. It's 35-12. Let's skip to the end of the game now. The Dragons have a late drive. They're looking to add some more points. And Sean Tucker scores his 2nd touchdown of the game at the buzzer. It's not going to matter, though. Atlanta wins it 35-19. Let's take a look at the box score for the game. I mean, we gave a good fight, but Atlanta's just a better team. Mitchell Trubisky was fine. He wasn't bad. He wasn't good either. Desmond Ritter was really good. 79% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 400 yards. Bijan Robinson was impressive. Mac Hollins and Kyle Pitts were both great. Denzel Mims, though, 10 catches for a $105. He played quite well. And then defensively, we just couldn't keep up with a high-octane, explosive offense. We did get a couple of turnovers, but unfortunately it was not enough. We have a couple new injuries, as Fedarian Mathis will miss 2 games with a foot injury. Leo Chanel will miss 3 with an abdominal injury. Here are your players of the week, including my quarterback, Jared Goff, as we take a look at the scores around the rest of the league for Week 10. So that'll bring us into Week 11. We've got the Houston Texans on the schedule. But before we do that, though, we're going to have our prospect profile going over the wide receivers and tight ends in this year's draft class. As it stands now, we would currently have the number 1 pick as we are tied with the Commanders. But since the Commanders beat us back in Week 1, we would get to pick ahead of them. So if the season ended now, we would get the first pick. As we look at the pass catchers in this year's class, there's a lot of talent within this group, and obviously this team needs more weapons on offense. We have had 0 consistency from our receivers. Michael Thomas can't stay healthy. Michael Gallup is mad about his role. Denzel Mims can't catch the ball. So even if we were hypothetically drafting Puma Whitlock or one of the other quarterbacks, we're going to need better weapons on the team. And overall, I think the wide receiver class is talented. The tight end class has some names to watch as well. We'll start at the wide receiver position, and overall, I think it's a pretty strong unit. There's probably going to be 3 or 4 guys who end up in the first round. I do really like the depth of this wide receiver class. I don't think the Dragons feel like they have to get one early because there are probably bigger positions of need on this team. and there is a lot of depth down the board. But I do want to look at the guys at the top of this class. We've got 2 clear first-rounders fighting for that wide receiver 1 spot between Chase Hunter of Missouri and Assisi Verone Jr. of Clemson. We'll start with Chase Hunter. He has broken out this year for Missouri, seemingly coming out of nowhere, and he's been the best receiver really in the entire country, leading a high-octane Missouri offense. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but he knows how to play the receiver position. He's one of the best separators in this draft, and the guy, quite frankly, just knows how to get open, sort of similar to like a Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson type, in the sense of their physical tools are not going to blow you away, but they're a damn good football player. And then Assisi Verone Jr. out of Clemson is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. He's not as polished of a receiver, but he has the physical tools that NFL teams really like. He's 6'4", he's got very impressive speed, his hands and routes need work, but he's a guy who has a very high ceiling and could be the top receiver off the board. Then we look at this fringe first-round group. We'll start with Kareem Shaheed out of Minnesota. He's been a contributor for the Golden Gophers over the last 4 years. Although I feel like he's a little bit inconsistent week to week, he's a guy who knows how to get open. He's pretty solid across the board, and he is dangerous with the ball in his hands. Then we get to Colin Robinson from Idaho, a small school prospect. He's been a starter since his true freshman year. Another guy who's been a very consistent player for a while. He's kind of similar to Chase Hunter in the sense that he's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but the guy knows how to get open. Now, he's not playing SEC competition, one of the bigger differences between him and Hunter, but he is really solid. Josepi Macias is the other receiver who I think could be a first-rounder. He's a junior right now who is expected to declare. He's a big 6'4" playmaker. The question with him is he just going to be a jump ball receiver in the NFL, or can he be more? With his physical upside, I think he can be more. As we look at the day 2 guys, there's a lot of talent here, and that starts with Griffin Weaver III out of TCU, a former 5-star recruit at Alabama. He transferred to TCU and has been very solid ever since. Another guy who's a weapon with the ball in his hands, even though he's not the biggest or fastest. As we look more into this 3rd-round range, I do like guys like Daniel Davis and Kermit Wiltz, but I want to look at these two, Williams and Washington, because they're both very similar gadget players. Dynamite Williams, in particular, is a human highlight reel. He is a big play waiting to happen, living up to his name of Dynamite for the Kentucky offense. And I think whichever NFL team drafts him, they've got to know how to use him. Kind of similar to like a Deebo Samuel skill set in the sense of line him up everywhere and give him the ball. As we go down the board into day 3, I think one of the possible gems in this class is Tykeem Keon Jr. out of Clemson. If you've been around the channel for a while, you probably know his pops. Keon was a 5-star recruit who hasn't really been able to put it all together at Clemson. This year, he was really hoping to break out, but an ankle injury has sidelined him for most of the year, and he feels more like an athletic projection rather than a finished product. There are some interesting names on day 3. Kyon Clark was the #1 recruit in his entire class. Chico Rampigo, Julian Calvin, even these guys at the bottom like Divine Loagna and Elias Denko all look pretty solid. Let's move over to the tight end position as we start with Poco Formaggio. The Boston College product has been one of the best tight ends in the country this year, and with his athletic profile, I think he's going to translate very well into the NFL. He's not much of a blocker, but he's big, he's fast, and he is just a mismatch waiting to happen. Houston Maverick and Alexander Forsell are good options on day 2. It's not an overly deep tight end class, and I think some of those other guys on day 3 might be overdrafted because of the scarcity at the position. Our scouts do want to talk to us specifically about another player, running back Ontario Jackson out of Alabama. We talked about quarterbacks and running backs a couple episodes ago, and Ontario Jackson was one of the players we mentioned. So in case you missed that episode, you should check out the series playlist where all episodes of the series are located. Let's go back to our Week 11 matchup here against the Houston Texans. Let me know what you thought of the prospects we covered today, by the way, down below in the comments. This Texans team has been pretty solid this year. They're 4-5 with all the young talent they have, specifically the 2 rookies, Will Anderson on defense and C.J. Stroud, the #2 pick out of Ohio State, on offense. C.J. Stroud has had a solid rookie year. He hasn't really shown the ceiling and the big flashes, but he's also been very consistent and stable, which is something that the Texans have not had for quite a while since Deshaun Watson was here. A lot of these other young players on the Texans have really played well too. Guys like Derek Stingley have been able to take a leap up, and they've got some high-end talent. Laramie Tunsil's one of the best tackles in the league, and this Texans team is no slouch. They're only 1 game back of the Jaguars for first place in a very competitive AFC South, and with this game being on the road, I think it's going to be a challenge for the Dragons. 2nd and 7. C.J. Stroud looks to throw it, and he is sacked. Jelani Tavai leading the way. There's another defender in the area as well. I believe that was Tyquan Lewis. 3rd and 14. Stroud downfield is intercepted. Caleb Farley picks it off. His 2nd interception in as many weeks with a big return to the 12. A bad throw there by Coleridge Bernard Stroud the 4th. Yeah, we're pulling out the full name. First play of the drive for the Dragons is the only play of the drive. Greg Dortch in the end zone for a touchdown. The booth reviewed the play, and it turns out he did get both feet in. The touchdown stands at 7-0. 3rd and 6 here for the Texans. Stroud looks to throw it, and his pass is called in for a first down and more. Big play after the catch by the tight end, Dalton Schultz. He gains 47 yards. Huge play there for Schultz. The Texans offense rocking their red alternates today. They needed that one for sure. 3rd and 8 now. Dameon Pierce, not known as much of the receiving option, lines out as a receiver. Stroud is sacked. Emmanuel Ogbah brings him down for a loss of 7. And the Dragons will hold on to their lead. 48-yard field goal attempt for Kaimi Fairbairn to put the Texans on the board is up and good. And so now it is a 7-3 ball game. Dragons back with it, 3rd and 5. Here is Trubisky under a lot of pressure, and he is sacked. Will Anderson Jr., the rookie drafted out of the University of Alabama. The Texans really believe in this young man. They gave up a whole lot to get him as he makes the play. 3rd and 2, Stroud on the option, loses 3. Big tackle for loss by Josh Metellus. The Dragons' defense has been really solid today, coming off a very poor performance last week against Atlanta. 2nd and 7, here's Trubisky under pressure. He is sacked again, this time by Cleveland Ferrell, former high draft pick out of Clemson. The offensive line has not been kind to Mitch so far, and so it's 3rd and 18. Trubisky down the field. It's intercepted! A massive turnover. Derek Stingley Jr. picks it off, and Stingley brings it to 25. A huge play for the young cornerback out of LSU. And so the Texans, with great field position, will not capitalize. First play of the drive is picked off by Greedy Williams. That's the 3rd interception combined of just the first quarter. C.J. Stroud only threw 3 interceptions through the first 9 games of the year for the Texans, and he's thrown 2 within the first quarter today. And the Dragons do nothing on the drive as Will Dissly drops the ball. Pass broken up by Jalen Petrie, and so the Texans get it back. This has been an ugly football game so far. These offenses do not look good. Nice catch, though, by Dalton Schultz as he dives to haul it in. The Texans moving it well. They've got it at the 19. Stroud rolls out to the right. Short pass is caught by Singletary with a spin move. He will bring it to the 4. Great job there by Devin Singletary after the catch. And so now it is a 3rd and goal from the 1. Play action fake. Stroud's pass is caught. Another diving grab by Dalton Schultz. The tight end has had a great first half for the Texans. He's like the only offensive player on either team who's looked good. And so now it's 10-7. Sean Tucker loses around 3. Will Anderson makes another play. The rookie pass rusher has been as good as advertised so far today. 3rd and 10, Denzel Mims gains around 7. Another nice tackle by Jalen Petrie. And the Dragons' offense continues to struggle. Houston back with it. Stroud lobs it up. It's nearly intercepted by Rock Ya-Sin. That could have been the 3rd interception of the first half for the defense. Trubisky lobs it up for Will Dissly. It's caught at the 10. The Dragons looking to take the lead here before halftime as it's now 3rd and goal. Handoff for DeAndre Swift. He will bring it to the 2. The Dragons are this close. They're going to be aggressive and go for it. Trubisky for the lead. Under pressure. He is sacked. He cannot get rid of it. Huge play for the Texans. That was Thomas Booker with the sack as the Texans hold on to their lead, 10-7. Let's take a look at our halftime report. We will start in Carolina. The Panthers have really come back down to earth after their hot start. They currently trail 14-7 against the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb tells the Panthers to CeeDee's nuts. Lamb already has over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns here in just the first half for the 7-2 Cowboys. In Cleveland, we've got a tight one, tied at 7 between the Browns and the Steelers. Both teams right in the mix for a wild card spot in the AFC, featuring a Pickett to Pickens touchdown connection. And finally, in the Motor City, the Lions facing off against the Bears. Justin Fields off to a hot start. He has a passing and rushing touchdown in the first half. The Lions are on upset alert as they trail to the Chicago Bears 14-10. As we go into the second half, the story of this game has been the defense. Our offense has really struggled. Our lone touchdown was because we started at the 12 thanks to a turnover. But on the flip side, our defense has been very good. C.J. Stroud has had his first multi-interception game of his entire career. He's been pretty good in the short game, but anything past 10 yards, he's really struggled. So the Dragons have it back. Trubisky up the middle for the tight end, Will Dissly. He gets it to the 36. Trubisky's been pretty good, I think, all things considered, with the offensive line really struggling. Now, he does need to get rid of the ball quicker. Case in point, as he is sacked on first down by Sheldon Rankins for a loss of 7. 3rd and 14 now. Trubisky looks to throw it, and he is going to be sacked again. Will Anderson Jr. leads the way for the Texans. That's 5 sacks for the Houston pass rush today. And the Texans get it back, still leading 10-7. Dameon Pierce up the middle, fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by the defense. Yasin recovers it. A big hit from Devin White, who continues to make plays for this team. Dragons looking to capitalize off the turnover. Mims down the field, gets it to the 7. Good throw off of the play action by Trubisky despite being under pressure. 1st and goal now for the Dragons, looking to get their lead back. The last time they had a turnover, they scored, and it looks like they'll do it again. Sean Tucker with the touchdown. I did not expect Sean Tucker to be this team's leading touchdown getter on the ground, but Sean Tucker has been an end zone magnet. He's up to 5 on the year. Houston with it back. Now they trail. Dameon Pierce looking to change that as he gets it to the outside to the 43, wrapped up by Rock Yasin. Good run for Pierce, and the Texans are moving it pretty well. 3rd and 4 now from the 39. C.J. Stroud looks to throw it. Up the middle. Broken up by guess who? Devin White. On 4th down, the Texans are going to go for it here. They're not really in field goal range, but they're also not in punt range, so why not? The 4th down pass from Stroud is caught, and it'll be a 1st and then some as the Texans bring it to the 30. Noah Brown making the play for Houston. 3rd and 5 from the 25. Stroud looks to throw it under pressure from Clemens, and he will have to throw it away. Good pass rush there by the defense, and that'll bring out the field goal team. Kaimi Fairbairn to bring it within 1. It is good. The Dragons hold on to their lead, although Houston cuts into it. It's now 14-13. 3rd and 3 with a little over 30 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Fake handoff for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Trubisky rolls out to the right side, looking to avoid the sack, and he is going to be sacked again. Dylan Horton, the rookie out of TCU, brings him down, and the pass rush continues to be too much for Mitchell Trubisky to handle. Texans back with it, 3rd and 10. Screen is incomplete for Singletary. Both of these quarterbacks really are struggling right now. Trubisky can't evade pressure. Stroud can't throw an accurate pass. And St. Louis gets it back. Trubisky on 3rd and 7 gets rid of it. Denzel Mims only gains 3. These offenses both look like they're trying to lose. I mean, this is hard to watch. 3rd and 10, less than 6 minutes to go. Stroud looks to throw it up the middle. It's tipped and incomplete. Josh Metellus got a hand on it. And now the Dragons will get it back as it is 3rd and 11. Trubisky looks to throw it. No time at all. Will Anderson, 2.5 sacks. That one was not so much on Trubisky. It's just that Will Anderson came into the backfield so fast, and the Texans are going to get it with good field position. 3rd and 10 from the 50 with 4 minutes to play. Stroud goes downfield, broken up. Another nice defensive play. Greedy Williams got a hand on it. Stroud has completed 1 of his last 9 throws. 3rd and 10. Trubisky does get rid of it at least, but it is incomplete. Good pressure again by the Texans. Will either team give in? This is just such a disaster. Here is Dameon Pierce wide open. Devin White falls asleep in coverage. I don't know if he thought he was supposed to be in zone or what. Dameon Pierce brings it to the 8-yard line. That completely opens up the door for the Texans, but they've got to capitalize. 3rd and goal from the 6. Pierce on the handoff. He is a yard shy. It's DeMar Hamlin who brings him down, and now the Texans have a real dilemma here on 4th and goal from the 1. They're going to bring the field goal team out and pretty much guarantee that they can take the lead, and I understand this call, but on the flip side, when you're that close to the end zone, you almost have to go for it. This clearly signals they trust their defense, and I guess deservedly so. The Dragons' offense has been abysmal, and sure enough, Trubisky is intercepted by Steven Nelson. The Dragons are not out of it, but this does not look promising. All the Texans need here is a first down, and the game is over. 3rd and 13 from around the 28-yard line. It will be a run for Dameon Pierce. He breaks the tackle but does not get it. That'll force the Dragons to flush their 3rd and final timeout. So there's a little over a minute left on the clock. Here's Fairbairn on to kick. It is up and good. And so it's a 5-point game. So basically, now the Dragons need a touchdown. They have a minute. They have no timeouts. It's not looking good. From the 21-yard line, Trubisky looks to throw it under pressure. Got to avoid the sack as it is caught by Gallup to the 34. Got to move quickly, though. 35 seconds left, 2nd and 2. Trubisky looks to throw it. Has time. He has a couple receivers who are kind of open. Now they're not. And now look at this. Good job by Mims to create space to the 43. Got to keep moving, though. They're going to have enough time for one more play. Trubisky for the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown. Michael Gallup at the buzzer wins it for the Dragons. I do not believe this ending. If you thought the Greg Dortch play in the last episode was crazy, how about this? The Dragons win it in Houston, 20-19, with a buzzer beater touchdown from Trubisky to Michael Gallup. What a win for the St. Louis Dragons, who improved to 3-8 on the year. Michael Gallup, Dragon D's nuts on Steven Nelson on that play. It was press coverage. Gallup creates separation. Trubisky with a beautiful pass. Wow, what a win. Oh my goodness, that was an ugly game. Mitchell Trubisky had an up and down game. He had the interceptions. He was sacked like 8 times, but when he needed to make big throws, he did. CJ Stroud, on the other hand, really struggled to throw the ball. He was very unimpressive. Michael Gallup, his best game as a Dragon, 7 for 106 and the game-winning touchdown. And then defensively, Will Anderson, this kid is special. 5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. Our defense played really well, though. We had 3 turnovers. Houston had 2. And our defense was just steady and consistent throughout the entire game. Even when our offense really struggled, the defense got stops when they needed to, and that's the reason why we ultimately won the game. Here's a look at your scores around the league here in Week 12. As for the players of the week, we got a couple of Cowboys and a couple of Bills. Dak, Perryman, Allen, and Von Miller. So that'll bring us into the next episode. I think we're going to get through 2 more games. We might do another prospect profile as well. I haven't really decided yet. So we're going to be looking at the Rams and the Steelers in the next episode. And then after that, we have our bye week and a pretty tough end of the year with the Niners, Bears, Eagles, and Seahawks. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Certainly an exciting ending to the second game. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.